there's a chance I could die. This is gonna be so long. Hey guys, so I just got out of 4 days in the hospital. It was very unexpected. I've had probably one of the roughest weeks of my life. It was just like setback after setback after setback. So I feel like I'll just give you an update video, and I feel like to tell the whole story, I'm gonna have to go a little back, like way back. So in 2017, like March of 2017, I started getting really, really bad stomach pains, and at first I thought it was like heartburn or something, and then it kept happening after I ate certain foods. So I was like, okay, maybe it's like really acidic foods are doing this to me, maybe it's pizza that's doing it to me. So I would kind of avoid certain foods, and then it would still happen. So, you know, I did a little research and I figured out it was gallstones. So that was happening to me during March of 2017. And then on the last day of March, I had probably what was my worst attack. And honestly, gallstone attacks are the most painful thing that can happen that's probably ever happened to me. And I sprained both ankles at the same time that one time. Last day of March 2017, it was my worst gallstone attack. And it lasted through the night. Usually they go away after like an hour or two. Lasted through the night, and then we wake up, and I called out of work that day to go to urgent care, and we get the news that my aunt had died. So I was like, is that my body telling me something bad was gonna happen? So I had like that thought in my mind, and the pain went away. So we go to urgent care anyways, and the pain had subsided by that point. So my doctor basically just told me, we're gonna send you in for an ultrasound later this week. Don't eat fatty foods, and next time it happens, go to the ER. So later on that week, I get an ultrasound, and they did discover gallstones in my gallbladder. And it was really cool to get an ultrasound, just to see your insides. That was really cool. That all happened in March 2017. And like I said, then I basically didn't get any major gallbladder attacks since then. I did have minor like uncomfortableness, and I just looked online and a lot of the tips were to drink apple cider vinegar. So I always kind of had that at the ready. And if I had some kind of pain, I would drink the apple cider vinegar. Later on, I finally realized to dilute it with water. I was drinking straight up apple cider vinegar, so gross. Do that, and it usually went away in half an hour, and I was fine. And then literally did not have any issues for the rest of the year. Even when I went on my trip to Europe, I had some apple cider vinegar ready to go just in case anything happened. Nothing happened to me. And I was still eating fatty foods. So basically a year and a half later, beginning of November, my brother and I went to Montreal, and I had like a minor attack. I was just really uncomfortable. I didn't have my apple cider vinegar. And so I just kind of like made a makeshift heating pad in the hotel room. But I chalked it up to, we were eating poutine, which is, you know, very greasy, very fatty. And then they kind of subsequently, they kept happening throughout the month, like little minor ones, but I would do my thing, kind of walk around for a bit in the middle of the night. It happened when my sister was sleeping over, and she's like, is there anything I could do? I'm like, no, I'm just gonna walk around the house at 3 a.m. like a ghost. Like, that's the only thing that'll alleviate this pain. And then Thanksgiving happens, so, you know, a week, 2 weeks ago, depending on when you're watching this, Thanksgiving happens, it's fine. Friday happens, I'm eating leftovers, I'm fine. Saturday, pretty normal, and then at 6 p.m. I'm lying in bed, and I have that, like, the beginnings of a little attack, and I was like, okay, I've been through this a million times, I'll go downstairs, I'll get the apple cider vinegar. I barely make it downstairs. I'm having the worst attack I have ever had. So the minor attacks just feel like heartburn and the worst period cramps you've ever had, and like that there's a brick right here. The true attacks, you are debilitated in pain. So I was doubled over on the floor. I couldn't even get up straight to swallow an Advil, water, the apple cider. I couldn't even get up straight. I thought I was having a heart attack. I knew it wasn't a heart attack, but I was like, this is what one must feel like. So that pain lasted a pretty long time, and then I finally got my like wits about me, drank the apple cider vinegar, and thank God it was Thanksgiving, you know, like my whole family's around. So I let my mom know what just happened, and she's a nurse. So we kind of just like agreed that I would take it easy. She made like a little rice heating pad and the apple cider vinegar. So she was taking care of me. So an hour later, I'm lying in bed and it still hurts. Like usually they kind of subside, but it's still hurting. And we get a phone call that my grandma has died. So again, I was like, is this my body telling me things? Do I have a sixth sense? Teresa Caputo has nothing on my gallbladder. And then I thought it would kind of subside, like my body's telling me something, it happened, the pain will kind of flush out. And during an attack or even afterwards, it's really uncomfortable to lie down. That's why I said I skulk around the house at 3 a.m. I just walk around. So, you know, I had to lie back. I usually sleep on my side. I could not roll over. It hurt no matter what position I was in. It hurt to even lie down. So I was kind of, I put all my pillows behind me. So I was kind of like straight up and it was just impossible to fall asleep. So I was up all Saturday night. Sunday, it still hurt. But I was like, I was trying to be normal. Sunday, it still hurt. And then it's hurting all through the day. And then we were still looking up home remedies. So I did one. It was drinking olive oil with lemon in it. It was so disgusting. I threw up immediately after I did it. And I feel like throwing up helped a little. It must have jumbled some things inside. Fell asleep again Sunday night. It was still hurting. And like I said, these go away after a few hours. They always have. And I was going on 2 days. And then Monday morning, I was supposed to work in the city at 11 for a modeling job. I get ready. I probably had like a half an hour till I was gonna get the train. And it's still hurting to the fact where I was like, I can't, like, it hurts to sit, it hurts to walk around. And then I threw up again. And I was like crying, kind of still doubled over. And I was like, you know what, let's do something about this. It's been 3 days. I was kind of like, I don't wanna make it a big deal. You know, that's just me. I have a really high pain tolerance. I don't like attention. So I was like, I don't really wanna make this a thing. So we go and like literally the second we get to the ER, I was like, I kind of feel fine. You know, then I was, because that happened the last time. I was like, of course, now that we've made a big deal about this, I feel fine. But they took my blood. I got admitted into the ER, which I have not done. The last time I've been to the ER, I was 2 years old and I put a Lego up my nose. So this is my only time in my adult life I've been to the emergency room. And then a doctor finally saw me and she's like, are you sure? Because you look fine. And I was like, shouldn't you have better bedside manner? But I don't know. And then they got the blood work back and she was like, oh my God, apparently I was so backed up. A gallstone was in my bile duct, so stuck in my bile duct. That's what was causing the pain. The bile was so backed up, it was causing me liver damage. So my mom thought it was kind of funny because she was like, Shannon, the one that doesn't drink is getting liver damage. And it was so bad, I was jaundiced. My eyeballs were yellow. So they're like, we're gonna have to do some more tests. So I got another ultrasound. Then they finally admitted me into a room and I got an IV and I was like, this is legit. Like there's a little bucket list. I have a milestone birthday next week and I was like, oh, an IV before 30, you know? So I get a room, I'm hooked up to an IV, everything's legit. I have to get an MRI. And people are always talking about how scary an MRI is because it's very claustrophobic. I was fine. They put on some Adele and Kelly Clarkson for me. So I got an MRI. And then they were like, okay, we'll operate on you tomorrow. But I was not on the schedule for the next day. I was kind of like a wait list person. So I spent the night, Monday night, in the hospital. So at this point, I've been in the hospital from 8:30 a.m., now overnight. Then the next day, literally, I'm getting no updates from any doctor, nurse. It's 5 p.m. the next day. And I still haven't gotten any like, oh, you're going on at 7. You're, you know, no update. So then there's a lot of back and forth with a bunch of different doctors. My mom's friend, who's also a nurse there, is like trying to get her guy. You know, it's a big to-do. And I was like, I will walk out of here with this frickin' IV thing. You call me when you want to operate on me, because I've been in here for a full day. I was gonna get some other guy to do it, but they're like, you need to fire your other doctor. I'm like, I don't know the protocol in this. I've never, like I said, I haven't been in this kind of situation ever in my adult life. And of course, all this shit happens like the 1 hour my mom was like, I'm gonna go home and like, shower, you know? And my poor mom, like my grandma died on Saturday, so my mom has to deal with all this stuff too. Yada, yada, yada. I finally get operated on. And I wasn't really nervous, but right beforehand, I do know someone who did die from anesthesia. So right before it happened, I was like, there's a chance I could die. But I didn't. Clearly, I'm here. So what they did was they not poked, but there are 4 incisions in my body right now. And then they blew air into there, and then they did their work in there. So I thought there would be like a big incision and they cut it out of me, but I'll show ya. I haven't worn a real bra in a very long time because I'm afraid it's gonna hurt. So these are my dressings. So there's a hole here. This one hurts the most. Here, and through my belly button. And then they blew it up and went in. These look so grody because I was told not to change these dressings, but they are kind of gross at this point. So hopefully my mom can just redress me. But this is the aftermath of a gallbladder surgery. And then I wake up like in the middle of the night. I have one of those oxygen tubes like Hazel Grace, and I'm like strapped to the bed, and I was so fucking thirsty because you can't drink when you're about to get surgery. So I didn't drink at all on Tuesday because I didn't know when I was getting surgery. Had I known it would be 7, 8 p.m., I could have drank in the earlier part of the day. So it's like 3 a.m. and I'm kind of awake, and the nurse comes in, and I was like, can I drink water? And she's like, yeah. And then she leaves. And I'm strapped to a fucking bed, and my table with all the water on it is like 5 feet away. So I had to like buzz her back in. I'm like, can you push the table towards me? Like, come on. And then Wednesday, I was like, cool, are we done? And they're like, no, because we got your gallbladder out, but there's still that gallstone in your bile duct. So we're gonna have to do a second surgery. And I was like, jeez, like it's never ending. Mind you, as I'm recovering, Wednesday, I get a text that I got in a little fender bender like 2 weeks ago, literally at 1 mile an hour. We collided. There was no damage done to this guy's bumper. And I'm right out of surgery. He texts me, hey, it's gonna be $1,000 to fix my bumper. I was like, buddy, you have the worst timing. My grandma died. I just got out of surgery. Like, you are my last priority. Also, why is a bumper $1,000? Why? And nothing happened to it. I'm like $300-400. Okay, all right, but $1,000? I got a new transmission for like $1,700. Like, something's off here. And I'm like, it was probably a lot of his prior damage. Yeah. I feel like he's wasting more money getting this checked out than the actual problem. But I was like, are you serious? Like, bad timing, dude. So that's happening. And then I have to go for a second surgery at 7 p.m. that night. And they put a camera down my throat and a balloon thing, and they kind of just blasted the stone out. So that was my second procedure. And my friend's mom was actually my nurse, like a childhood friend. She's like, hey, I'm Carrie's mom. Do you remember me? I was like, oh my God. And mind you, like, my butt's out. Also, I've been wearing the same dressing. I hadn't showered since I got there. So I'm like, no shower. My hair was the greasiest it's ever been. No shower. They don't let you wear underwear in the operating room. So I was just like, boobs and ass out. No shame. They've seen everything. But I was like, this is mildly degrading. That happened 7 p.m. I have to stay one more night. And I finally get out on Thursday during the day. A lot of this is bullshit because this could have been an outpatient surgery. Like, I could have been like, okay, Shannon, something's up. We're gonna have to take it out. We'll schedule for tomorrow. Because clearly I wasn't in an emergency situation to them because they put me off till 7 p.m. the next day, which is why I had kind of that freak out. I was like, I could be at home in my bed as opposed to in a hospital bed because no doctor or nurse is coming in here to check on me. So there's really no reason for me to be in a hospital. You could have told me to come back to get the surgery. Okay, the big shit part of this is that I don't have insurance. So I've been freelancing recently, and I signed up for the Affordable Care Act, which most of you know as Obamacare, and that kicks in January. So had I waited a month, just a month, this wouldn't be such an issue. And had they just had better timing, there was no reason I had to be in the hospital for 4 days. Absolutely no reason. That first day, why? Why? So I'm terrified to see my bill. I hate the timing of my life. I'm so unlucky. So that is making me really nervous. So I don't know my steps going forward. I did pay off 50 grand of student loans in my 20s. So I know I'm capable of really hustling and getting all that shit out. So I feel like even if my hospital bill is like 40 grand, I'm like, I can do that. I've done it before. I can do it. But I'm so terrified that it's gonna be something even bigger. And I feel like it's just gonna really deter all the hard work I've done up until this point. I'm gonna start crying. So if anyone knows any tips on how to negotiate a bill down, because I know you can, because they make hospital bills so inflated because they assume the insurance company is gonna pay for it. And I'm an accountant, and we learned about hospital accounting in college, so I know why the bills are so big, and I know how they get, you know, taken care of, and there's all this background of accounting in a hospital setting. But if anyone has any tips on how to negotiate down a bill, they would be appreciated. My family has also suggested a GoFundMe, but I don't know how I feel about those. I would feel very guilty to ask my viewers to donate to me, and then you see me haul like Bath and Body Works candles and you're like, bitch, you have money for candles but not this. You know, it's just like a very weird line to walk on, you know? So that's where I'm at right now. So my grandma died. My great uncle died while I was in the hospital. He was at the same hospital I was at. I got 2 surgeries. I'm uninsured. And this asshole wants $1,000 for his pristine bumper. So the only thing I can do at this point is laugh, because I'm like, this is just too ridiculous. Like, when it rains, it really pours. So that is my life. Trying to stay positive. Part of me is like, it can only go up from here. So that is my life update. I wish I could have started Vlogmas on a happier note, but we are going to New Orleans for my birthday, so there will be some celebration. We're doing fun Christmas stuff too, so there will be actual Vlogmas. So I just wanted to give you an update of what happened to me. If your gallstones hurt like a bitch, get it out immediately. A lot of the doctors were like, you should have done this a year ago. And I'm like, the other doctor told me to wait till the next one. You know, like, bad communication all around. And again, my mom was such a trooper because she had so much shit going on last week. So yay for Mama Miller. I got to the hospital Thursday and my grandma's wake was that day, so I couldn't go. I was still bedridden, but I did go to the funeral Friday. So just, you know, Thanksgiving week has historically been really bad for me. Hopefully that hospital visit does not render me completely fucked. I was even gonna start a video series in January about how to be good with money. I still might, but I'm gonna be really poor now. But I'm gonna figure it out. I lived. It's not the end of the world. So, got through this. Thank you so much for watching. Vlogmas will continue, and my travel vlogs, I was supposed to put them up last week, but I was in a hospital bed. So, videos are coming and they are plentiful. Thank you for watching. Pray for me and my bank account. Sorry for the late add-on to this video. I was editing and I was like, I feel like the main takeaway from this video is to take care of yourself, listen to your body, and if something like this happens to you, just get it removed immediately. Don't wait like I did and then be screwed over by not having insurance. Just get it done. It'll save you a lot of pain, time, and money in the future. Also, I wanted to add, like, describing this pain, when I was, you know, in the throes of an attack, I would just kind of Google it and Google it. I saw so many people say that their gallstone pain was worse than their unmedicated childbirth. So at least I know I'm good to go in that department when that finally happens. I just don't want this to happen to anyone else. This sucked. So thank you for watching and getting through that with me. It was an ordeal, but we're gonna get through it.